Hey there, welcome back to Powerstroke Maintenance. Today I'm going to be talking about the best 6.7 Powerstroke model year and why I think it's that. To absolutely no one's surprise, I bought a 17 through 19 generation. I have a 2019 Powerstroke 6.7, and in my opinion, I think that is one of the best Powerstroke 6.7 years because you get a ton of power. You also can get a truck like this XLT that isn't super complicated. Yes, it has the EGR and the DPF, but the 17 through 19s are still fairly straightforward to, shall we say, do some weight reduction on if you would like. And so that sort of modification is fairly straightforward. And so when I was looking at Powerstrokes in 2021, when I bought this, that was one of the considerations was, how far back do I want to go? I know I want a Powerstroke, but, do I want an 11 through 14? Do I want a 14 to 16? Do I want a 17 through 19? Or at that time, the 2021s were coming out. And so I didn't really want to buy a brand new truck because they are pretty expensive, but I'd driven older model Powerstrokes. So for work, I used to drive, we had both a 7.3 square body dump truck, but then we also had a 14 Powerstroke 6.7, and I loved the Powerstroke I drove for work. I would tow, it was like a 16-foot dual axle dump trailer, and that truck just handled it all. And so I knew I wanted a Powerstroke, but I really wasn't sure what year until I did some more research into the Alumiduties. The 17 through 19s are the first, Alumiduty generation. Now, with my truck, some issues you may want to be aware of. The high pressure fuel system on these trucks is problematic. S&S does make the disaster prevention kit, which I have, which kind of alleviates some of those concerns. But yeah, fuel system in this is very temperamental. The pump is very temperamental. Need to do fuel filters a lot. I do them every 15K. And then the only other thing that I found in my research was the oil cooler in these trucks. Some owners have reported that being problematic. And again, the front end, I've had more problems, knock on wood, with the front end of my truck than I have with the emissions equipment. I did have to do the injector and the hose for the DEF because it was leaking and I had all the urea crystallized along the line, so the dealer did that under warranty. But that, knock on wood, has been my only emissions problem, whereas with the front end steering components, I'm at 114,000 miles on the odometer and I've basically replaced every single component at least once. I think the only thing I'd add is with the 17 through 19, I really do love that they still have a 6-speed that shifts based off of oil pressure. I reset my transmission adaptive learning table a little while ago, and this thing ever since then has just shifted like butter. It is amazing. Even with the emissions equipment on my truck, it has incredible power. I haven't even gotten one of the Banks tuners for it yet, and I'm sure if I did, it would be even better. But I feel like this truck kind of splits the difference between the newer trucks that have a lot of beep boop beeps and technology and stuff. Like, this definitely does have some of that, and but it's an XLT, so I don't have to deal with like a bunch of the electronics. I feel like it's going to be a good high mileage truck, and I'm planning on getting this thing up to 1 million miles if possible. We'll see. Part of this channel, I would just add, is I'm planning to run this truck with the emissions equipment on until my motor fails. So I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, your motor's probably going to fail, like you're not going to get 1 million miles out of it. That may be the case, but I really want to see what happens if you do your maintenance, run additives, be super meticulous with everything, and leave your emission stuff on. Like, how many miles can you actually get out of one of these trucks before either the DPF, EGR shits the bed or your motor shits the bed? So I am committed to that journey. I will keep everyone updated. I do monthly truck updates, so definitely keep an eye out for those to see how I'm making out. But I'm really doing this kind of as an experiment to try to determine, how much these EPA regulations are hurting the longevity of vehicles, because people don't usually hold on to these long enough to find out. They either delete them right away if they're going to keep them, or they sell them after 100K. And so I am going to see exactly how long you can get with these emissions trucks and how many miles you can get and how much you have to spend to keep them going. Again, as we kind of keep moving forward with all these emissions trucks now having, you know, all these complex systems, helping people make a decision, should you get a diesel, is it worth it, or should you just buy a gas truck? Because, you know, I've gotten a lot of comments from folks who bought the gas trucks and are super happy with them and, you know, say they would never go back to diesel. I think that's fantastic, because at the end of the day, you know, if you find a quality product that works for you and it doesn't cost you a ton to maintain, then you should by all means buy it and use it. And I don't really understand, you know, I know the 7.3 Godzilla got some hate, but I think, you know, if it's a good product and works for people, you should use it. On the other hand, though, if you like a diesel and if you want to run a diesel, and if you have the money to run a diesel, or if it makes sense for you to do it for your work because you're towing or, you know, whatever, I think it makes a lot of sense to buy a diesel then too. But I want to help people understand the pros and cons, how expensive it is to own a diesel, what goes into maintaining it, to help you make that informed decision as a consumer who would be spending quite a bit of money on a gas or a diesel truck. I mean, even the gas trucks, you know, the Godzilla is still an add-on option. It's not as much as the diesel, but, you know, it's an expensive vehicle. So, all right, well, that's enough jibber jabber. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate you checking out the channel. I hope this video was helpful. I know at times I may have rambled a bit. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time here on Powerstroke Maintenance. Cheers.